going on Zoom now. Yay, here we are. This is Kathy L. Murphy reporting live from my little cabin in the woods, Murphy's Law. I'm back home tonight for book club. So I'm thrilled to be back home. And I'm happy to say I got the roots done today, which were about 2 inches long. And I was looking pretty sad being a hairdresser to have that much roots. But Mandy, you're looking quite lovely. Robert, handsome as ever. And Wendy, look at that smile. Beautiful. Glad to have you back. We're doing something different tonight at the online book club. We have Pamela Hutchins up on this week on our the Pulpwood Queen Presents her picks, our blog, which has the new name, Wendy. But she couldn't be here tonight, so we switched with Boo Walker. Mandy and I are going to be discussing Boo Walker's books tonight, and he'll be on next week on the Pulpwood Queens, reporting from Spain. Pamela
will be on next Tuesday.
Yes, and she's up in Montana, and boy, has she been sending some great posts so far. So here we go, Mandy. Now, you talked to Boo himself in arranging all this stuff. So tell us how this is going to kind of work tonight, because I'm kind of just jumping in on this. I love his books. Go ahead.
So it's so funny when we set it up, and how best laid plans, whatever. And then he's like, oh, I won't be able to do the Tuesday night because he's in Spain and the time thing. So I said, well, you know what? We've got this all planned out. I'm going to send you some questions, Boo, and you answer them, and then we'll just talk about you without you being here. Right. So I sent him a list of questions, and he sent some great. Well, I sent him some things, like things to know about you. So he sent them, and then I'm like, dang, these are so good. I had to then follow up with questions to find out more. So we'll talk about those. We'll go through that list.
Well, one of my favorite things about Boo was last year we featured him at our annual book club convention, and I asked everybody to send an author photo, and he sent an author photo of him underwater in a swimming pool typing on a typewriter. It was the coolest. I just wanted to frame it and put it in my house.
I love that picture.
I love that picture, and if it should be a book cover, don't you think?
It's on his website, I think.
But it would be a great book.
Is it Boo Walker's website? So it's really cool.
And there's more than just one, I think, right? But it's really great. And it's good to see that you have your ham prop behind you, which was, I think, a big surprise when we had on our book and film club To Kill a Mockingbird. Mandy blew us all away with her costume. She came as Scout in her costume for the I guess it was a fall festival school play, and she wore that infamous ham costume, which was absolutely priceless. So I'm glad to see you're keeping that around. But tonight we're going to be talking about his books. He's written, let's see, he's got, I think, is it 3 or 4 books now?
Oh, hold on, because I actually, I was looking at that. Did you know I read that he also writes thrillers under the pen name Benjamin Blackmore. Did you know that, Kathy?
What? I did not know that. Well, he certainly hasn't sent us one of those, and that would have been perfect for this month, being October, and everybody's getting all spooky and everything. So I did not. Benjamin Blackmore is a thriller series. Wow.
Well, it just says he writes thrillers. I don't know so much of his series. Yeah, he also writes thrillers under the pen name Benjamin Blackmore.
I did not know that. But is it boowalker.com for his website?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you guys have to go there and look at his photo. I don't know how they did this. Somebody must have had an underwater camera, but they caught him just perfectly.
Can we share screen, Kathy or Mandy?
Do you have that photo?
Yeah, so I'll pull it up. Let's see.
Let's show everybody, because it's really, it's almost, kind of like Vince Spinato's pool picture too. It may be a thing with the Pulpwood Queen Timber Guy authors, Robert, you're listening. You may have to take a picture in a pool.
Okay.
That would be great.
Whatever I need to do.
It's
That'd be
becoming a
fun.
trend. It's becoming a trend. So you're going to do the share screen and
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
get
pulling up
this.
his, I didn't have his website up. I was going by something else, but let me get his.
Boo is got a permanent address in Florida, but he's lived all over, including up in the Pacific Northwest, where he did their Red Mountain recipes. There's one of them. Oh my gosh, that's outside the pool with. Oh, look at the dog. There it is.
My favorite.
Oh, wow, that's great.
I love that
love that one.
picture. I just love it. I just think whoever thought of this was, these are all very cool. And let me tell you, he sent me a bottle of that Red Mountain wine. It is fantastic. It's one of the best.
Benjamin
One of the best wines I've ever had. And I'm very picky about my wines. So look at that Red Mountain recipes. I'm going to have to get that too for the body, mind, and spirit. Wow. I did not know about that too. Let's all sign up and subscribe and check that book out. We need to get those books up on our bookshop, our Pulpit Queen bookshop.
I've got a bunch of them up there, but I didn't know about Benjamin Blackmore till tonight.
Once a soldier, off you go, and low country
Punch.
Whoa.
Yeah, Low Country Punch.
They're novellas, I guess.
Well, this is a novella, but the other two don't say novella.
Yeah. So standalone. The others are standalone thrillers, and Off You Go is a standalone
And
novella.
if you scroll down, does it say they're set in Verona, Spain? Oh, he lives in Valencia, Spain. How horrible. Oh, would I love to go to Spain? No, that one picture is Seattle. I see the Space Needle in the background. So very, very good. I love the dysfunctional Buddha blog. That's pretty cool. There we go.
Prettiest book covers ever.
Yes, and beautiful covers. Every one of them is just absolutely gorgeous. And I just don't know who's putting them together. There we go. Look at all these books. I think Red Mountain was the first one he sent me, and I was just kind of taken away with the covers. But he's got a lot of books. That guy is really a voracious writer and reader. So very cool. So for all of you out in Facebook land, and later on we'll be putting this up on our Kathy L. Murphy YouTube channel, his Red Mountain series is set up in the Pacific Northwest, and then now he's living in Spain. He's got a lot going on. He told me when he moved back, he thought they would be moving to Maine. So he must have a bit of the wanderlust, him and his wife and children. So good for him, because I kind of do myself. And I'm going to have to go on there and check out the blogs. I wish I had at least another 24 hours in a day so I could hit everybody's blogs. They're so fascinating to me. And for those of you who are reading, this is just a wonderful way to get to know your authors better. And of course, coming to our annual book club convention, which is January 11th through the 16th. Oh my gosh, we have so many people coming now. I think I've got 100, almost 200 pictures of the authors, speakers, special guests, Publishing Insider, and all their books up on our photo album on our Facebook social media photo album. And Mandy's been getting the program together, and we're almost done, aren't we, Mandy? We're almost completely finished. I'm so
Well, I'm ready to get it out there and start promoting. I can add stuff.
I think that's I'm all for it. I just added a very interesting Texas character. Tumbleweed Smith is an icon in Texas. He runs all these radio programs across mostly West Texas, but now he's really come into East Texas. He was interviewing Tamara Bolton this week, and he's got a new show called Outrageous Texas Women. I was wondering who he might be featuring on that, but we're going to be talking to him at our annual convention too. And he's quite the character. He actually has the most oral history recorded I think, of anybody in the state of Texas.
Yeah, that was when I was pulling the stuff for our program. That's what I mean. There's a lot of stuff on his page that's y'all should all just check out Tumbleweed Smith. But that really, I thought I want to know more about that. So I can't wait to meet him.
He was the keynote speaker. He had done a special on author Stephanie Chance in Gladewater at Decorate Ornate, and they invited him to be the keynote speaker at the Chamber of Commerce. And I went. You guys, you should have seen his outfit. All I can say is peas and carrots. He had on a deep orange velvet jacket, and he had this razzmatazz green shirt and tie. I said, I know that's a man's outfit, but I certainly would love to have that jacket. It was awesome. You would have loved it, Robert. It was the most beautiful burnt orange pumpkin color, and that green, that popping green. He said he always searches out one-of-a-kind jackets, and it has made him very recognizable. He's just so much fun. But back to Boo and Boo Walker. I mean, what a perfect name for an October author. The only Boo I've ever known was Boo from To Kill a Mockingbird. And I know his real name is not Boo. But how cool is that? It's
I
like,
knew
I should have asked him that.
That's cool.
Yeah, is that your given name or just a nickname? Like, were you so unattractive as a baby that they thought, oh my God, we're going to call you Boo?
I think Boo is more has a connotation here of like your buddy,
Yeah, it's a Southern thing. I knew a fella a few years ahead of me in school. His name was Boo, but I don't know what his actual birth name was. And I don't know what Boo was short for.
Well, when I moved to East Texas, I remember the mayor of Avenger, which was nearby, his name was Goat. And I was going, now that's different. And then this other guy went by Possum. So, you just never know about names, but that's always a definitely instant recognizable name when you hear Boo Walker.
It's a good author name.
It's a great, great author name. So what are some of the
some of the things that he sent, and then
let's go. I can't wait.
Build them out more. So I just said, what are some things about you that you think writers would like to know? And he says, Boo played banjo professionally in Nashville.
Wow.
And I jumped on that because I'm like, well, that's so funny. Yeah, maybe we know, some of the same people. Boo read A Gentleman in Moscow in the room where it was set, and it's his favorite book of all time.
Which is?
A Gentleman in Moscow.
M.R. Tao's book. Yeah, I liked Rules of Civility, which was the first one I read of his. He writes to me, that book really reminded me of Fitzgerald. And I loved both of them so much. He actually is going to be at the Texas Book Festival live this year. I'm so jealous because I've been trying to get him for the Pulpwood Queens because we picked both of his books, I think, for book club selections, and I've been trying to get him, but he went famous too fast. He just went up the chart. And once that happens, it's always hard to get a hold of these people. But he's a wonderful writer. That's interesting. What else did he have?
We know he lives in Valencia, Spain, but he and his wife have an 8-year-old boy who is adopted.
Oh.
Wow.
He majored in.
Go ahead.
He majored in music, banjo, at the College of Charleston, and he studied composition. His great-great-uncle, or thereabouts, was R.D. Blackmore, who wrote Lorna Doone.
What?
Oh, Lorna Doone. I love that song. That's so much fun. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So he comes from a musical family.
His mother always wanted him to marry an Italian woman, and he was lucky to grant her weakness for extra. Wait, sorry, I need my reader. and I don't have them. He has a major weakness for extra toast Cheez-Its and begs all his friends to bring them to Spain when they visit. I guess he can't get those in Spain.
Extra toasty Cheez-Its.
Well, I have to just say what I'm really, really fascinated by is the fact that he majored in banjo. I mean, you don't hear that every day.
Right.
That
But,
is
you know-
a very hard instrument to play too.
But you know what's really fascinating about that is being a musician and a writer. So I've not had an opportunity to read Boo Walker yet, but he's on my list. I'm wondering if there's a lyrical quality to his writing, Mandy, that you get a sense that he.
Yes, I think that there is.
How about
Yeah.
the singing
You'll see-
trees? I mean, the latest book is The Singing Trees, and he's a wonderful writer. And I can't even remember how he came into my view, but I saw he sent me his book, and I was just like, okay. Sometimes you just know by a cover, you're just going to love a book. Which, by the way, Wendy, I passed my book, your latest book, on to my sister, who loves Southern plantation stories. So she's got it now, and she's going to be reading it. But Pearl Mansion. So, the wonderful thing about books is they're the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah. But banjo is really.
So I should have gone.
Go ahead.
I should have gone through the questions. I was going to read the answers and then more in detail, but I want to get to that banjo thing because that's, Robert, what you said about his writing being lyrical. So I asked him, I said, wow, so who did you play with, in Nashville? And like how we played with a group called the Biscuit Boys from 98 to 2001 in Nashville. And his favorite song to play was Cherokee Shuffle, probably, if you had to guess. But he said he started writing after a hand problem that ended his banjo career in about 2002.
Wow.
That first novel took me years, and I threw away so many drafts. But isn't that interesting? So it's not like he, that writing wasn't his first dream.
Right. And I guess he was able to transition from music to making music on the page, really. That's really cool.
And that's kind of what you've done with your book too, Robert, with the cicada tree. So you've got the music aspect in your book too. But, it's like all the senses are, I think it's very interesting when you bring in both one of the first authors I ever had in my shop was Kathy Heppenstall, and she had a musical artist who created original music to go with her readings, and she would light candles and play this music when she did her reading. And I have to tell you, it was more of an experience than just doing a reading. So if people might think about that when they do readings, of creating an experience with the reading. And I'd never seen that done before. And actually, I haven't seen it done too much since. Especially, she had a candelabra that she carried with her, and she lit it and turned the lights out and played the music and then read. It was lovely. And the book was The Absence of Nectar, which is a fantastic book.
That's a great
Creating
title.
the mood along with the words that she's writing.
And isn't that what happens when you are cooking and giving recipes in a book? You're creating a taste, you're creating an experience. So I love that. And the banjo, and did I understand that his son is also learning the guitar?
Okay, so I asked him if his son played a musical instrument, and he said his son plays guitar, and it's how he earns his screen time.
Oh,
So he's just
Smart.
yeah. And then I asked if if his son was a big reader, and he said they're reading Harry Potter now, and he's 8, and he's just starting to get the bug. And he also loves Dog Man. None of y'all have little kids, but do you know Dog Man?
I don't know who that is.
It's great. It's a great little kids or younger kids series, sort of like they have graphic novels of the like children's books. Like they were big when I was at the bookstore.
It's interesting. Writers tend to read more to their children, and then that perpetuates more writing because then they want to write stories. It's just like if you're in a family of people in the medical profession, 9 times out of 10, the children will go into the medical profession. You learn by example. So you want your kid to be a reader, you need to read to them and keep reading. And right
I'm
now,
glad my
I've got-
parents weren't undertakers.
Yes.
Oh no. Oh my. Well, I always think about that.
Which is an honorable profession, I must say, but not one I think that I would be good at.
One of my best friends is a undertaker, and he owns, quite a few funeral homes, and he's just the funnest guy in the whole world. But I could never do it because I would not be able to keep a straight face because I laugh at the most. My sister and I are terrible. We laugh at weird stuff. And we laugh when most people would cry, and we'll cry when most people will laugh. We're kind of strange that way, but I always admire people that can go into that profession and keep that face, that face. When my husband's grandfather passed away, we went to the graveside services, and Madeline was all dressed up, and she loved Tommy. This would be her great-great-grandfather. She loved Tommy. And when we got there, they had, how they have the coffin raised up under the tent? And she jumped out of the car and she goes, "Hurry, quick." And she just went running full blast in that taffeta dress towards the thing. She goes, "Let's get a picture with Tommy before they bury him." And I swear to God, the funeral home people were having a horrible time trying to keep their, demeanor, but they did it. I don't know how they did it. I was going, "Oh my gosh, Madeline, shh." She goes, "Give me a picture by the casket." I mean, she was 7, my kids are different too. So anyway, that's what happens. But Boo Walker has a very unique sense of perspective. He's not your typical author, and he definitely has a lot of wanderlust because he's really moved around a lot, and he evidently knows his great wine too, because that Red Mountain wine was fantastic. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm about to tell on myself because this was October 9th. No, wait, I just printed them today, the 19th. It's been such a crazy month. When I sent him these questions, it was earlier in the month, and I asked him if he wrote in other genres. I just said, "Oh, he writes." I didn't know he wrote under a different name, but I did the thriller part. I'm like, I feel like it's been like 6 months and it's not even the end of October yet. But so he said he did write two thriller novels and one mystery novella, and he misses it, and he hopes to write one again sometime. But he says Leila Meacham, a fellow Pulpwood Queen author, was his mentor and is the reason he left thrillers for book club fiction, which he's obviously really good at.
That's how I met him. I just remembered Leila Meacham told me about him. And let me tell you, that woman, she just passed away not too long ago, but that woman was the biggest mentor to authors. I can't tell you how many authors have told me, "Did you know Leila Meacham?" I think Marcy Nault was one of them. They said she'd check in on me every day. "How's the writing coming?" But I thought, now what's the odds of having a Pulpwood Queen author here in San Antonio mentoring an author that's in Spain? It's all these little connections always, I always feel like they happen for a reason. So that's one of the reasons why I really rushed to read his books, because of the Leila Meacham connection. I couldn't remember what it was, but that's what it was. Cool. That's really cool, Mandy.
And so I asked him, because he said that his mother always wanted him to marry an Italian woman, So I said, "Well, how did you and your wife meet?" So that was one of the questions I asked about that. This is so cute. So I met my wife in Seattle when we were living there in the same building. I saw her on the rooftop where I was sharing some wine with friends overlooking the Space Needle. I asked her over and then proposed 3 weeks later. 3 months after that, they got married and on the Space Needle.
Oh,
Oh, they did. How cool is that?
Isn't that a great story?
It's a great story.
When you know, you know.
That's right.
So he proposed 3 weeks later, and then 3 months after that, they were married. And on top of the Space Needle, where they met, when they met, is what they were looking at.
That's
So cool.
That's so
His,
cool.
I asked him what is like his biggest dream, like what's your biggest dream? And he said his biggest creative dream is to see his books turn to movies or TV series.
Yeah, I can see that happening. He's very creative. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see his books being turned into like a series or movie.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I can see all the Pulpit Queen ones that way. To be honest, I read visually, so that's exciting. Well, did he have any other dreams?
Well, that was his biggest creative dream. That's all that he told me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so I asked how long he'd been in Spain, and he said that they sold their house in Florida, and if he had a house in Florida too, because I was on for his book release, August 28th. It was so interesting. Like, and I think he said his wife and son, he was lonely because they were in Florida. They had an elderly dog, and so that they were with. But he said they sold their house in Florida and they live in Spain full time, but are probably relocating to Maine next year, which was what you said, like wanderlust. Yeah.
I love it. I would love to do that.
In Maine, I mean, what a writerly place to live.
I mean, yeah, Stephen King's up there and got quite the little place. You've seen the gate to his house. Woo! Mm-hmm. And his wife and son both his sons are authors. So yeah, Maine puts out a lot of writers. That's cool. It's a great place to go. I would love to go there. So
very cold in the wintertime. You got to stay in and write.
Yeah.
Which I would love. I'm an inclement weather writer. It's my favorite time to write.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we know how you go off on your little writer retreats, and your scary story that you had happen last time, that was the wildest thing. And since it's October and it's, Halloween month, you ought to share that story, Robert.
Yeah, well, just quickly, I was on a writing retreat a few months ago and working on a new project, and the protagonist is a ghost. And part of my writing habit is to read my pages aloud and record myself. And so I was recording. When I went to play it back, I could hear myself read the first sentence. And then there was this really odd, very spooky sound in the background that went on for the duration of the recording. It was really peculiar, and I sent it to Mandy and I sent it to you, Kathy, but it was
freaked me out. I never listened to it twice. It was like the weirdest sound I've ever heard. What do you think it was, Mandy?
Creepy. I loved it. I listened to it 50 times.
Well, and I called Mandy after it happened, so she stayed on the phone with me because I'm in this cabin in the woods. So
I'll tell you what, I've probably been packing my bags and driving down the mountain. That was pretty weird, but it makes a great story. It makes a great story. So,
hey, Robert, you saw on my Facebook my light in my office flicking off and on, didn't you? I just posted that. The memory popped up. Yeah, that was so. It was like 2 years ago. And I have like 2 back doors. Like one is my office, there's a door going out, and then from the kitchen at the other end of the house, which the other end of the house is this big, there's a door coming out of the kitchen there. And I'd let the dogs out from the kitchen. And I was sitting on the little stoop there waiting for them to take care of their business, And out of the corner of my eye, my office light was flicking. It flicked off and on, and I had my phone, so I waited and I recorded it once, but it did it for a while.
I wonder if it was like some form of Morse code.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was just like flickering, like Mandy. Don't look under your bed.
You're gonna give me the creeps tonight. Oh my
goodness!
Messing
around and write. That's what it was.
Yeah, it said butt in seat. Right.
I did see. You guys are funny. You're funny. So when does Boo think he's going to be back in the States? He didn't say. Just sometime.
He didn't say. Yeah, no.
Did he say why he moved to Spain? I mean,
Yeah.
of
Why
all
Spain?
places to go, why Spain?
Well, maybe that's where his wife's from. I should have asked because, she's an Italian woman.
Well,
Well, maybe.
You would think Italy. I don't know, but
Right,
Spain is
yeah.
very beautiful.
a lot
Right,
of
yes.
Italians go to Spain and vice versa. So who knows?
So maybe her family. I don't know.
But Spain is lovely, and maybe
Have you
there's some
been?
attraction.
Have you been?
Oh no, I've never been, but only from what I've read and seen and on
I've
television.
seen a
and
lot of pictures. It's
about.
really beautiful.
Yeah, and I know people, who are from Spain, and
We
they're
read
beautiful
a
people there.
we read a book some time back about an opera singer from Spain. And it was, what was the title of that book? It's been years ago, but I've been fascinated with Spain ever since. And isn't that where the wonderful books by The Alchemist? Where's The Alchemist? And isn't he a Spanish author, or is he from, or am I getting him mixed up with,
It's Paulo Coelho.
yeah, or maybe he's Venezuelan. That's a big difference.
I'm getting confused. I don't.
Well, shoot, I just had his Italian wife being from Spain. So, don't ask me. My brain is.
So Mandy
Hey,
and I
I'm from
Mandy and I are from the
Kansas.
South, and we did not study geography.
I'm from Kansas, and the only way I learned geography was because across the street from me growing up, we had a dormitory for a men's college, and all the boys that went to school there were from other countries. So that's how I learned all the South American countries, Japan, and pretty much all the East Coast states, because they were either from back east or South America or Japan or China. And it was fascinating. Listen to the Bostonians talk, and they all drove little convertibles, and we found them fascinating as kids because they wore suits to school every day.
Very chic.
It was the skinny tie. It was that Beatle era. They wore the black suits, and they'd hop in those little red convertibles. And I remember one of them came back from somewhere, and it said Boston or bust on the back, windshield. And we were fascinated with those boys, but we were little. I mean, we're talking about preschool, first, second, third grade. So we were pretty tiny, but they were very exotic. Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, working at Vanderbilt for 26 years, and then, the 4-year fellowships. So all the medical students, when they'd come back to do their fellowship, they're from all around the world. So I was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, and I was just like, I loved it because I learned so much. Like, it was just so cool. Like, you'd become friends with them, especially when I was in cardiology, because I taught them how to do echo or, different, little tricks of the trade, and doing echocardiogram. So we got really close, and that was one of the best parts of that job too, because I came from a little small town and, didn't know anybody outside of Tennessee. And then I was like, meeting people that were from all over the world. So it was cool. It's like that. When we'd see those sheets of who they were coming, I was like, oh, she's from India. Oh, he's from South, Africa. Like, I was like, oh, I can't wait to meet them. Can't wait to be their best buddies and find out everything I can.
It's so true. And now with our book club, we're getting so many international authors on board. We're kind of going around the world with books. I'm so excited about all the authors we have coming up for 2022. You guys are going to be fantastic. And we're going to have a big girlfriend weekend. So we hope everybody signs up, and every author, if you're listening out there in Facebook land, every author that signs up for Girlfriend Weekend, we're going to get you featured in our program. So we want everybody to know that we're
recognizing you in the program.
Yeah,
so all the readers that see it will see who they can meet at the happy hours and the thing. So even if you're not on a panel or featured in the event, if you're there, we want all the readers to know who they have a chance to talk to during the breaks, and who's going to be right there, listen to the panels and asking questions along with them. So
the thing that makes our book club convention unique, besides being the only one I know of anywhere in the world, is the fact that you have such access to the authors, and you can talk to New York Times bestselling authors, and then so many of the authors, it's their first book, and then they'll find out they're from Spain or or Paris or Canada. You just never know. Or, they're from Atlanta or all the different books, Fernandina Beach, it's pretty exciting. And a lot of times when I first pick the book, I don't really know where the author's from. Now we're looking into that more because we're picking 12 books of the month, 12 books of the year and 12 international books of the year. So we're really trying to find out more where people are from. And I'm just kind of blown away by I know Mandy will call me up and say, oh my gosh, you can't believe this author just joined. I just found out, what was the author that had the connection to, was it James Lee Burke?
Oh, it's Pamela Ewan Bennings.
Yes, I got her signed book plates today, and she had a connection to, she's related to him, right?
She's his cousin. And when you look at her picture, she's beautiful. She's got that cute, those blue eyes, the shape of her eyes and her jaw. I'm like, they look like cousins, which I'm a huge James Lee Burke fan.
And we heard a great
author.
We heard a great James Lee Burke story at our online book club meeting with Carolyn Haynes. If you haven't heard the Carolyn Haynes online book club, you need to tune in just to hear the story about going to Louisiana, because she went to learn Cajun dancing down to Beau Bridge and Mulots in Metairie, Louisiana, and it's the funniest story I think I've ever heard. That woman is my sister. I was doing these live from the hospital, and my sister was laying over in the bed just howling with laughter. And she goes, I've got to meet that woman. She goes, that Carolyn Haynes is. And I go, well, I couldn't figure out what you were laughing about. She goes, she is so funny. But she's so funny.
And I just have to tell you, like all the best storytellers, the story that she starts with, I have a James Lee Burke story, has nothing to do with James Lee Burke.
That's right.
It's just that she loved James Lee Burke and wanted to go to Louisiana because, that's where he writes from. And so she just wanted to be in that part. So the whole time I'm thinking, she's going to meet James Lee Burke. She met James Lee Burke. I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting.
And at the end of it, Mandy said, what in the world does that story have to do with James Lee Burke? She goes, not a thing. It's just how Southern stories start. That's what I love about Southerners. You can start out and say, did you hear about Imogene's daughter, the one that had the pet chicken? And so you're thinking you're going to hear a story about the chicken, right? No, the chicken never comes up again. There might be an alligator in the story, or, a toothless man, You never know. But I love the
from an insane asylum on Saturdays.
Oh my God. It's just so funny. So I get off of there and my sister goes, the same thing happened to a bunch of girls in Jefferson. They went down to Beau Bridge because they wanted to learn how to Cajun dance, and they met the same guys from the middle institution, and none of them had any teeth.
Yeah.
No way. She goes, yep, you've got to talk. And she was telling me all the girls that went down there and danced all night with these mental patients that didn't have any teeth. I'm telling you, you just never know what you're going to learn on the.
Well, you didn't have to worry about getting bitten, when you're dancing with somebody.
Not going to do much damage if.
No.
You're going to get gummed to death.
Yeah.
You're so bad. I never know what you're going to say. I tell you, Robert, you're funny. It's, and that's the thing I love about our book club. We not only share the story of authors like Boo Walker, but we share our stories too. And they go off on a lot of different tangents. And you just never know, between her and TK Thorne and her alien stories. And
then TK Thorne reads that beautiful poem.
Oh, yeah.
Kurt and I were talking about that after.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about that poem. I wrote TK in Facebook Messenger and just told her how much I loved that poem and how much I've not been able to get out of my head since she read it. It was just stunning.
It really was.
She's gonna send me a copy. I've not gotten it yet. So TK, send me my poem.
Yeah, I'm still waiting
I want to feature it in the magazine.
I do too. And while we're talking about that, Adriana Trigiani, you still need to send me my poster of that book cover of the opera singer, because that was the most beautiful cover I've ever seen in my life. She was going to send me a poster. But we all get sidetracked. We all get sidetracked, and we don't get a lot of things that we're done. But today I got about 10 more authors' book plates. I will tell you, authors, if you send me book plates, please print out who the book plates are from, because I can't read book plates. And so if they don't put their return address on the envelope, I don't know whose they are.
So Kathy, quick question though, shouldn't we be autographing the book plates?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
But you can't read them.
Oh, I gotcha.
They'll stick them in an envelope and they'll send them to me, and I go, I wonder who this book plate is from.
Send me pictures of who those are,
What
Kathy,
I'm going to do when I get enough time before Girlfriend Weekend, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to photograph each one, and I'm going to say question mark if I don't do it, because most people addressed, have a return address on there, but a few people did not, or they'd sign Love B, the letter B. And I'm going, okay, B, Barbara, who.
Are there any clues in the book plate? Like, are they?
It's going to be a mystery we can all solve. It'll be the Christmas puzzle that we'll have. But most of them are very, there's some beautiful ones. I mean, there are some gorgeous people who really spend a lot of time and have them done. But even the simplest ones are precious. And what I'm going to do at Girlfriend Weekend, I was going to take one of every one of them, and I'm going to donate them to the Pat Conroy Center to auction off so they can have everybody's book plates. How cool would that be to have? Then you can put them in all your books. That'd be so cool. So anyway, and we did get the information on the Pat Conroy Center on our silent auction this year. It's going to be a little different than we did it last year. We do a author silent auction every year, and authors usually send in an item that we'd auction off. This year, you take a photo of the item. It's not a book. It's got to be something that's tangible, that ties into your book, that you can autograph or send a letter with it autographed. And then when the winner gets it, the author will send it to the winner. Because last year, it was quite a task getting all those packages sent off for all. I mean, we had 70 authors last year, and
it just takes that burden off of Jonathan or whoever at the Pat Conroy Center. And if we're paying shipping and handling to ship it to Jonathan, well, we can just pay that shipping and handling to ship it straight to the person that
it just makes sense.
Makes a lot more sense.
It makes a lot more sense, and so we're
hoping that's in the program. I'll have it in the.
And we're hoping to.
I'll have it in the program where.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mandy.
The information of like how many photos, or like you can send 2 to 3 or 1 to 3 photos, the description of what it is, the price that you would like for it to go for, like starting bid and all that. So Jonathan will put all that, he's going to put all that together on the site there that he'll post. And we've got a link to that. all be in the program. So it'll, all the auction pieces, nobody will know that Jonathan doesn't have them all right there with him, by looking at the thing. So keep everything organized and streamlined.
Mandy is excellent at doing those type of things. So kudos to you, Mandy, for an awesome program and getting me organized. Ever since Juana left, things kind of went into disarray, or, it's kind of overwhelming when you have things happen unexpectedly. So things get away from you faster than you can possibly believe. But we think we're all back on track now. We've got everything pretty much going, and I'm pretty excited about all the things we've got happening that's going to happen at Girlfriend Weekend. And even if people cannot sit there for the week-long events, they're all going to be recorded and taped and put up on the YouTube channel to watch later, but you won't be able to join in the conversations if you're not at the convention. So you want to join in. This is what the Conroy Center does, and it's so much more fun when you can talk to the authors personally. In fact, Janet Oakley was on Facebook the other night for a book club, and she said she couldn't stand it. She had to jump on the Zoom meeting and jump on board because she said she was missing the interaction. And it's true. The more people that come on board, the more fun we have. So, and we've got authors that, Suzanne Kamada came on from Japan twice. That was pretty amazing. And we're just growing the book club. And it also is wonderful because international authors who were never able to come before can, and they are. And we've got some pretty amazing ones coming here soon. So anyway.
We're really going to encourage that, the conversation.
And lots of opportunities to have interaction with we're going to have storytelling. We're going to have our masquerade ball, which is going to have the big reveal for authors to tell who they are. And I hope you're going to use that Halloween costume, Robert, for yours.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because it is going to be fabulous. And I'm going to get out my Marie Antoinette wig.
All right.
Just saying. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring out I'm going to go back to the Louis the 14th?
Louis the 14th.
Louis the 14th in the Rococo time period, and do the whole, collection of tea sets and china and over the top. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So anyway,
Marie Antoinette, I can't remember if Marie Antoinette was before or after Louis the 14th.
No, it was right during the same time period.
Right around the same time period. Okay.
Yes, and the Sèvres, the French, china that she did, the teacup was the exact size of her breast. Her breast would fit exactly inside the teacup. I'm the only person probably at the art department that liked that time period because it's so over the top with pearls and turquoise and pink and the wonderful famous Fragioni, painting with the girl in the swing. I just thought it was and I love the Versailles series that was on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Evidently,
down in Cairo, Georgia, we would just make sure that that a woman's breast could fit inside the mason jar. But the fancy ones with handles.
Is that why they call them jugs?
Oh, sorry. And if you're really lucky, it was a quart-sized mason jar.
Right. I know exactly.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh, you guys are terrible. Oh, my cat jumped up on that one.
You started it, Kathy.
No, it's just so. Okay, so we are going to have Boo Walker next week. Pamela's on this week, and I am very excited about this week's Book and Film Club because I had seen that movie, Mrs. Henderson Presents. I watched it today and I absolutely forgotten how, oh my gosh, it is so you, Robert, because the cars, the clothes, the theater, the singer, the young man who was the singer in the film. It's a Judi Dench film about a very wealthy woman who loses her husband and she buys a theater. And this is in 1930. Yeah. And her clothes are fabulous. And, I don't know where I'm going to be to do it, but I'm trying to think of what I can take back with me if I'm going to be filming this from the hospital. They have a workout room for their patients and they're letting me use it for my Zoom meetings. They walk by and they look at me just talking all animated. It's crazy. But if I come in a costume, my daughter's already showed up there once in a medieval costume to surprise my sister, and the whole hospital staff went wild. I don't know what it is about dressing up, but people love it. They just, everywhere you go. She came in this long medieval costume with a garland of roses and flowers. It was fun, but that was Mandy. That film I've completely forgotten about it. And Judi Dench is the bomb, man.
I love her.
Oh,
have you seen it, Robert?
No, so I'm going to have to watch it before Saturday night.
The story. Okay, so it'll break your heart, but it makes you laugh. And the humor, the writing's so good because it's how you deal with life. It's so good. Wendy, have you seen it?
I haven't.
Oh my God.
Wendy, I think everybody would love. I mean, because it's just such a, and you'll find yourself laughing, and then because you're like, this is wow, you get so sucked into the story because it's so good. And then
I
all
love
of a sudden,
period pieces. I love period pieces.
And the cinematography, the costumes, the theater productions, everything is spot on. And then the Jewish jokes.
The strong woman in that time to do what she does with this theater and all of the repercussions she gets when you find out why it's so important to her. You're just like, oh.
It's based on a true story.
Well, I can't wait. You guys.
Those are the best.
I'm looking forward to it.
Judi Dench, I've decided I'm going to go down the Judi Dench rabbit hole tonight because when I was looking for the film, I found it on, I'm trying to think where I found it. It was not on Netflix. I think I watched it on Amazon. It wasn't on YouTube. But as I was pulling up Judi Dench, there's a lot of movies I have not seen. One of my favorite movies she was in was the one where she went to India to the Marigold Hotel. Oh, that's that is, and it's got Bill, what's that British actor that I just am madly in love with? Bill, is it Nighy? Oh my God, he's hilarious. I just everything he's in. He was in a film called About Time. We're gonna have to watch About Time. So next week we're doing this Saturday, Mrs. Henderson Presents, and then we decided, Mandy, what we were going to do for the next film. Wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, I'll have to go back and watch the thing, what we did. And then Robert has made some selections, but until he gets back, we'll wait until you can, do that. But I want to do About Time, which is a fabulous time traveler story that just kind of blew me away. And the young man who plays in it, it's British. It's a British film. It's wonderful. About Time. So maybe we'll do that next week. You want to do that after? Well, I'll go back and look at the tape and see. We said 2 films, and now I can't remember. I didn't write them down. I'll find out, and we'll get a list going. But this is going to be, it's kind of like the film I can't find, Cold Comfort Farm, which was a 1930.
So I found it, Kathy.
Where'd you find it?
Gosh, I'll have to look. I think on Vudu, VUDU.
I don't know if I'm subscribed. I think I've got Vudu. I had a copy of it, but I gave it to my sister. But people have to be able to find it to watch it, So Okay, I'm gonna look on there tonight, but I'm going down the Judi Dench. I'm gonna watch some of her films, and she's just, I love her because she's like Maggie Smith. They don't do any work, they just get older and cooler looking, like Betty Davis, they just get character wise and stuff.
Well, and their acting it never feels like you're watching an actor.
Exactly.
It's just like they are the character.
She's
and
one
the
of my
interaction
faves.
with Bob Hoskins, because I love Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins is
And the two of them
fabulous, and
together.
he's really good in it. And he plays a Von Dam. He's from Holland, and she goes, "That name sounds Jewish," and you just got to watch the movie because he proves that he is. Remember the scene where it's priceless. Okay, everybody. Wendy, what are you doing now? You're working on 2 more books?
Yes, we're working on 2 at the
great.
same time.
And
So.
how's everything going with your chapter? I know you're going to be doing Isla Morley's coming to one of your book club meetings, I think, because I talked to
Yes.
Karen Reed, and I think Isla's coming on board. So you're going to have fun with her. I talked to Karen quite a bit. She keeps me posted, and she's had quite a time herself. So it's been a tough year, everybody. But if we all hang in there, and we're like Mrs. Henderson, the show must go on.
That's right.
This
Wendy's
goes
going to
on
be getting,
all during the war.
so Wendy though has got really great things happening ahead for her with you're getting married.
Yes, that's a plan. We did postpone it, so we're trying to get a few things lined up before we do. So we haven't actually reset the date, but we're thinking probably spring or summer.
Lovely.
Okay.
That's a good time of year. Absolutely.
Anything that's later than now, because now's not the best time.
Yeah, it just wasn't the right time, and so we're really settled on maybe spring or summer. I think it's a better time of year, and that'll let us kind of sort out some of the things that it just really wasn't working out to be the right time of year for us. So
it's a tough time. It's a tough time to even plan even book club meetings. So book club meetings started meeting, and then they had to stop meeting again. So encourage everybody to jump online, because these are so much fun. I think if everybody did them one time, they would see how much fun we have. And the more people there, the more fun we have. So encourage your book club members to join us, Wendy, because I know everybody goes, "Oh, they're so dry." Not ours.
no, it's much fun.
We
so
have
Wendy,
a lot of
where
fun.
are you again?
I'm in Mississippi.
Okay, so I could travel to Mississippi for your book club meeting.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Invite me.
Absolutely. You are absolutely invited anytime that you want to come.
Wonderful.
When his book comes out, you need to have him come, because they're a fun book club. I've met with them twice going to California. I met with them in Pearl, Mississippi at this barbecue place, and we always have a blast. And,
yes, that's February 22nd, 22, right?
And I got to tell you, when I go and meet them at this barbecue place, just across the street, just a little bit down the road, is this store that my daughter and I went to because we were curious about what it was. And they sell police officer stuff. And we went in there, and when I say police officer stuff, I'm telling you, everything you can think a police officer would wear, you can just buy it.
Isn't that strange?
It's scary.
It must not be like that.
I've never been in a store like that. And so I think we bought Toby this strange coffee. I don't remember what it was, but they had all kinds of stuff that it's kind of like an Army Navy surplus store, only it's for police officers. And he goes, "So what are you all doing?" I go, "We're just curious about what kind of store this is." And we wanted to see what it was. And we were in there for like an hour because we couldn't believe all the stuff they were selling. They didn't really sell, I don't think they sold guns, but they had like shirts and patches and, holsters and knives, all kinds of police stuff, but it was.
I mean, that's scary to think that anybody.
Yes,
could-
it is kind of scary.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Well,
seem like that should be
that's
right.
Mississippi for y'all, but they were really friendly and really nice, but it was really weird. I thought,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Well, anyway, that's right across
Wait,
from.
before we go, okay, so when y'all plan your a thing for Robert, let me know. I would love to know about it. We could
You can meet
do
up
it right up
here.
in the magazine. Because
Yeah.
if I can't get to Mississippi with my 3 old dogs, but I would love, we need to feature the book club and the whole, I just think that would be a cool article.
Yes,
Reading
it
Nation.
would. Yes. I
I
mean,
do more of that.
we're going to hold you to that, Robert, for you to come visit.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to.
That would be so wonderful.
It's been a few years since I've been to Mississippi, but I certainly would love to go back.
Are you going to drive that little car?
Or maybe just fly, but I
Oh.
certainly could drive. I don't know what it's maybe.
Do you know what he drives? Tell us what you drive.
It's just a little Miata, Mazda Miata 2-door convertible.
What color?
It's a tiny little thing. It's black with cream interior.
Nice.
It was it's my midlife crisis.
Now, told somebody the other day, I said, how old is this guy? And this guy said to me, I don't know. What is he, 26? And I go, I can't wait to tell him. He thought you were 26.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, aren't you 26?
Well, yeah.
Oh, whatever. We're doesn't matter what your age is, we're just going to have fun reading all together, telling each other stories. So until next time out in Facebook land, we'll see you. Please get all your friends to join us because this is great for watch parties. I'll have it up tonight on our Kathy L. Murphy YouTube channel, and you can schedule a watch party with your book club or watch it at your own leisure. And we will see you Saturday night at the Book and Film Club. We're watching Mrs. Henderson Presents, starring Judi Dench and Bob Hoskins. So it
was good to
fabulous
see you,
stuff.
Wendy.
It's very nice
it's
to
good
be
to see
here.
you
I've been
guys.
missing you all.
And so remember tonight before you go to bed, are you a teacup or a mason jar?
You do not
Are you a
have that right.
teacup?
I do. It's in my office
Starbucks.
right here.
Okay. Y'all, bye. And have a wonderful night. It's all about the story, okay? Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, guys.